Welcome to the It Factor. We're Jemmy and I, exploring a new blog post by Mr. Len Kaplan, CEO of CDML and MSP in Queens, NY, offering network management, VoIP and UCAS, cybersecurity compliance, IaaS, cloud and Microsoft 365, and Azure solutions. If you're a small business owner or manage IT for a growing organization, this episode is for you.
All right, so today we are taking a deep dive into this source material from CDML. It's shedding light on a threat that, frankly, doesn't get enough attention, yet is incredibly relevant for businesses of any size, particularly small ones.
That's right. This isn't about attackers brute forcing their way into your main servers. It's more subtle, often preying on forgotten digital assets.
Exactly. We're talking about hijacked subdomains.
Uh-huh.
Our mission today is to really unpack this threat, understand what it is, why it poses such a significant risk right now, and critically, what concrete steps you can take to protect yourself. All based on the insights from this blog post.
Okay, let's jump right in. We all see subdomains every day. blog.yourcompany.com, support.anotherbusiness.net.
The source describes them beautifully as trusted spaces under your brand. They extend your main online identity.
And that trust is key to the threat we're discussing.
Absolutely. The way a subdomain can be hijacked, as explained in the source, is surprisingly simple. It kind of exploits a common oversight.
How does that work then?
It happens when a subdomain's DNS record, DNS being the Internet's address book.
Right, translating names to numbers.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That record is still pointing to some third-party service that you just don't use anymore.
Like maybe you used a specific cloud storage for a project? Or some marketing tool that got shut down?
Exactly. The DNS record, maybe it's a CNME entry, which is basically a nickname pointing to another web address.
Okay.
That CNME record is still active, telling browsers, hey, go look over there. But that service, it's gone, decommissioned.
Leaving behind what the source calls an orphaned or stale record, like a signpost to an empty lot.
Perfect analogy. The signpost is there, the building's demolished.
So the vulnerability isn't that someone hacked your DNS settings initially?
Not initially, no. The vulnerability is the outdated info in those settings. The attacker spots this orphaned record. They see promo.yourcompany.com points via a CNAME to, say, oldservice.provider.com. Then the attacker just goes to that same third-party provider and signs up for an account using that exact same name, oldservice.provider.com.
And because your DNS, your official signpost, is still pointing there.
Bingo. The attacker now controls that subdomain space. Promo.yourcompany.com now leads straight to their service.
Wow. Without touching your main network at all. They just claimed a forgotten piece of digital real estate.
That is incredibly sneaky. Feels like they're using your own trusted infrastructure against you.
That's precisely why the source emphasizes this is a significant threat. It bypasses a lot of traditional defenses because it targets that external attack surface, those corners you might not actively monitor.
And once they control that trusted subdomain, the potential for damage is immense because anything hosted there looks like it's coming directly from your company.
So what kind of nasty stuff can they actually do from a hijacked subdomain?
Oh, quite a bit. Since it carries your brand's trust, they can host incredibly convincing phishing pages. Imagine login.yourcompany.com getting hijacked.
Oof. Leading to a fake login page to steal credentials.
Exactly. Or they distribute malware, embed it in pages, maybe disguise it as a software update on the hijacked subdomain.
And the source mentioned other tricks too, right? Like web push notifications.
Yes, absolutely. They can send persistent scam alerts or malicious links directly to users' desktops or browsers, looking like they originated from yourcompany.com. It all leverages your hard-earned brand credibility.
That's terrifying. The user has zero reason to be suspicious if they trust the domain name.
Precisely. And the source points out this isn't just theory. There are documented high-profile cases.
Like what?
Well, they mention phishing sites on hijacked subdomains successfully grabbing credentials. Big names like Bose and Panasonic have had subdomains hijacked to distribute malware.
Bose and Panasonic. Seriously. Okay, if it hits giants like them, it really shows anyone could be vulnerable.
It does, and it gets more concerning. The source highlights cases where hijacked corporate subdomains were used as persistent infrastructure for ongoing scam campaigns, even targeting organizations like Deloitte and the CDC.
Targeting the CDC with a hijacked domain, that just underscores the potential impact. So what are the direct consequences for, say, a small business if this happens?
They can be severe. The source lists a few big ones. A major loss of user trust, obviously.
Yeah, that's hard to win back.
Potential financial damage recovery costs, maybe legal fees, data loss if credentials get swiped,
Yeah.
and even your online reputation taking a hit, maybe hurting search engine rankings if Google flags your domain.
So let's bring this back to you listening now, maybe running a small business or managing IT. What's the key takeaway for your world?
It means that focusing just on your main website and internal network security, well, it isn't enough anymore.
Right.
Your digital perimeter includes all those forgotten corners, old test sites, campaign pages, services you stopped using but didn't fully clean up after.
Like that old shed out back you forgot to lock.
Exactly. This threat is a stark reminder. Manage all your digital property, every door, every window, even the ones you don't use often.
Okay, great analogy. So how do we defend against this? The source lays out 4 key prevention strategies. Let's walk through them. First up.
The first, and maybe the most fundamental, regularly audit and clean up DNS records.
Auditing, okay. What are we specifically looking for?
You need a complete inventory of all your subdomains, everything.yourcompany.com. Then, systematically check their DNS records. The main goal: find and remove records pointing to services you've decommissioned. The source specifically flags stale CNAME entries.
Because that CNAME points a name to another name, and if that target name becomes available...
Yep. If an attacker grabs that available target name, your CNAME becomes their entry point. The audit finds those orphan pointers before they do. Many attacks start right there.
Got it. Audit and cleanup. Strategy number 2.
Continuously monitor for orphan services. This is more proactive than just periodic audits. It involves checking your subdomains from the outside, simulating what an attacker might see.
How do you do that practically?
The source mentions automated tools. Things like Subfinder or Amass can help discover all your subdomains.
Yeah.
Then you check if they resolve correctly. You're looking for errors like no such bucket or 404 not found.
Ah, those errors are the red flags. They signal the destination service is gone, leaving the spot open.
Precisely. Those errors mean potential vulnerability. Strategy 3 focuses on process. Enforce strong DNS hygiene processes.
Building good habits internally, then.
Exactly. Think
Right.
workflow. When a service is shut down, removing its DNS record needs to be a mandatory step in the process, not optional.
Makes sense.
And the source adds crucial security measures for your DNS provider account itself, using registrar locking to prevent unauthorized domain changes,
Okay.
enabling multi-factor authentication, MFA, for your DNS account access. This is absolutely critical.
Yeah. Can't stress that enough.
And being really careful with wildcard DNS entries. If you use them, have strict policies, because they can open up a lot of attack surface if one part gets compromised.
Feels like basic security, but specifically for DNS, which maybe gets overlooked.
It often does. And finally, strategy 4 is implementing external attack surface management, or EASM.
EASM sounds comprehensive.
It is. EASM tools give you that continuous outside-in view. They monitor public sources, DNS zones, certificate transparency logs, WHOIS data.
So it's not just checking known subdomains, but actively scanning public info to find all your digital assets and spotting potential issues.
That's a great way to put it. They look for inconsistencies, like a DNS entry pointing somewhere that seems inactive. The big benefit: alerting you to potential hijacking risks before an attacker finds them.
Proactive external monitoring makes a lot of sense. Now, the source also gives concrete actionable steps. What can someone do, like, today?
Right, practical steps. First, schedule a regular DNS audit. Quarterly, put it on the calendar. Involve your IT team or provider. Make it routine. Okay.
Second, look into deploying an EASM tool, or even something simpler that just checks your known subdomains for those error messages we talked about. Get some automation watching for orphan services.
Keep an eye on things automatically, not just quarterly.
Exactly. Third, direct action. Go through your DNS records and remove CNAME entries pointing to services you definitely don't use anymore. That specific stale CNAME cleanup.
Clear task, big impact.
Fourth, quick win. Enable DNS registrar lock and enforce MFA on your domain provider account. Now, protect that address book.
Crucial. What else?
Then fifth, documentation. Create a central place to track subdomain creation and deletion. Know what's supposed to be active makes audits way easier.
Those all feel very doable, even for smaller teams. And the benefit of doing all this:
You drastically reduce your attack surface. You stop your brand from being turned into a weapon, the source puts it plainly. You avoid becoming an unintended accomplice in crime. You don't want your company name tied to malware. Powerful framing. Protect your data, yes, but also your reputation and customers.
Now, the blog post is from CDML, and it mentions their services too.
Right, the source explains how CDML offers solutions designed for this. Automated subdomain discovery, DNS health checks, giving you that needed visibility.
Automating the inventory part.
Yes, and they specifically help find those risky orphan CNAME records. Plus, customizable alerts based on things like certificate logs and DNS anomalies, basically providing EASM functions focused on this threat.
So discovery and ongoing monitoring.
Mm-hmm. And they offer governance workflows and audit trails to help implement those hygiene processes we discussed, ensuring cleanups actually happen. The source suggests partnering with someone like CDML helps manage that online trust proactively.
Sounds like they cover it from discovery to process.
It ties back to securing the whole digital estate, not just the front door.
So wrapping up this deep dive based on the CDML source, hijacked subdomains are a real immediate danger. They exploit common oversights, turning forgotten assets into attack vectors, all without a classic network breach. And the defense comes down to discipline. Regular audits, automation for monitoring, strong internal processes, and smart tools for visibility. Finding those orphans and locking down your DNS is key.
This whole conversation really raises a vital point, doesn't it? Security isn't just about the main entrances. It's about ensuring there are no forgotten, unlocked windows anywhere on your digital property. What corners might your business have overlooked?
Definitely something to think about.
Indeed. Till next time.